Hello guys, welcome back. It's Logical as always, and today we're doing more. I don't even know what kind of video this is yet. We're going to find out as I edit this, but I'm doing this piece by piece because this could have a myriad of tips and tricks in it, as well as shenanigans, as well as good gameplay, as well as a lot of other things. This could just be a conventional video for all I know, but there'll be a lot of information in it from this one game. You will see this game later on as well because they need it for something else. But all you need to know is in this particular part, the reason why I'm keeping the start of it in is because I need people to explain to me their picks and bans, right? Because I know certain people have this specific reason, as in like they have specific characters that they don't want to deal with. The main contenders to this would be the likes of Kalari, Wraith. You know what I mean? These would be the contenders that people would normally pick, as well as the new character, Scarlet. You would think people would be banning characters that are actually problematic, right? But for some unknown reason, we're still stuck in this bizarre situation where Adele is still being banned. Well, Adele can get murked quite easily. Skylar's being banned. I'm not 100% sure to why she's being banned, because you can beat her. A Sparrow can beat her, a Kiara can beat her, an Eden can beat her. I'm confused to what the thought process is. And then you've also got Rampage and Fang Mao. Again, I'm confused to the concepts of these two being banned. The reason why I'm confused to the concept of Rampage being banned is because all you have to do is build anti-heal. So, sorry about that there. But also on top of that there, then Fang Mao. As far as I'm aware, Fang Mao didn't... Oh, well, I suppose with the new... is it Sariel? I suppose Fang Mao could be very good and very powerful, may I add. But you have to also remember that Fang Mao is still an all-in character. If he dives, he is poorly positioned, he's going to die. And no harm, but it is very rare that you find a Fang Mao that has absolutely pinpoint perfect precision. So it is... spacing and all of that there. So I brought this part up specifically because I was just extremely confused to why these four characters got banned. Like, there are definitely better picks that could have been chosen in this scenario. So I want to genuinely know what everybody else's opinions are on these banned heroes, because in my head the math isn't mathing. So with that out of the way, the team comps for this match is as follows. We have a Legion versus a Crunch in offlane, me versus Scarlet in jungle, Belka versus Gideon in mid, Muriel and Drongo versus Steel and Twin Blast in the duo lane. Now, the big thing that I have to point out here is there's a few interesting things. Obviously, we have a Legion in our offlane, and yes, that is really the only outlier of our team. But credit to my entire team because they played exceptionally well. So they did no issues from my opinion. They all played exceptionally well and knew what they were doing. So working off of all of that there, what we're going to end up doing is we are running the recommended build for Khaimera. So I will bring up the items as we go just to explain why we're picking them up. At this stage, most people already do know, but in case you don't know, I will bring up each item as we go. Not just that there, you'll also notice that I'm doing a different start. This is purely just on the basis of I want to make sure Scarlet stays away from my jungle. Now again, is she going to stay away all the time? No, she's not. She will inevitably invade. But particularly for the start of the game, it is vital that you do have your jungle warded, because it can be exceptionally dangerous if it isn't. On top of that there, we warp back and pick up Sentry so we can clear away wards as well. This doubles down on our ability to be able to do things, because if they have wards everywhere, we're in trouble. And this is the exact reason why we have wards, is Scarlet was in my jungle at the beginning, but once she noticed that she must have put down her ward and noticed I had a ward there, that caused her to skit out. And then obviously there was a kerfuffle in mid. So following that up, obviously once I got my third ability online, I figured, right, it's a good opportunity for me to go and gank. Now, main issue being here is the fact that obviously it's still early game, so not having immense amounts of damage. Unfortunately, this footage seems to be oddly laggy or stringent, which is weird. but I do apologize. But no, this is the moment where I got heavily ganked, and the pursuit on Scarlet is impressive because she was able to keep up with me. But considering Khaimera is an all-in character, it's kind of hard for him to do anything in this scenario. So off rip, first death, but it does demonstrate to me in my head that both Muriel and Drongo are a little bit passive, or they're a little bit passive in their aggression. So they are, because if they had followed up, could have done something else, or they made the right. I would actually, now looking back, realize that they have made the right decision, because if they had went in, they possibly could have died as well. So I returned to my farming as per normal, so I did, but this is where you're going to start to think a little bit more on how you're going to jungle going forward, because again, I'm a little mix of tips and tricks. So I died quite early, so I did, which means Scarlet would have been, because Scarlet ganked me, she would have had to have cleared her other side of her jungle first. She's actually in the middle of backing here, so she is. So I'm going to take this clean opportunity to rob her jungle. So I am. That is exactly what I'm for doing. So I go in, and again, I'm going to rob her jungle. She has backed now, so this is where map awareness really comes in handy. So it does, because I know that she's going to come to this side of the jungle where she now is, and me and her get into a little scrap. So we do. So I'm actually re-recording this part, because if you actually pay attention to what Legion done there, Legion had crunched, pinned under lane, and the second that he seen me engage with Scarlet, he immediately rotated into jungle to assist me. So he did. So in saying that though, I have to give even more credit to Legion. He could have pressed his lane, but he chose to help me clean up Scarlet instead. So again, Legion, fair play. That was fantastic map awareness in your position. So fair play to you, sir. So obviously after that altercation, I went back to my farming, and again, paying attention to my map, I can see now Gideon has rotated away from Balaka, but Twin Blast and Steel are currently going in on Muriel and Drongo. So I'm going to make myself known and be a pest. Again, stealing the gold to ensure that they don't get it. Now this gets really nuts really quickly. So Steel's going for the escape. I'm Khaimera, so I'm going to dive hard. Scarlet has taken Fangtooth, so immediately I'm thinking I'm fucked until I play a game of Peekaboo. Just absolutely demoing the Twin Blast. The Twin Blast has not learned, and then on top of that there Muriel with the long range shield. And then again on top of the Scarlet, again Muriel absolutely saving my bacon. So she is. Muriel saved my bacon in that altercation. So again to the Muriel, well done played. I managed to land one hell of a triple kill thanks to you. So after that lovely little altercation, what we do is we drop back, and again our first item is Overlord. For those who don't know, basically you gain health as you kill minions, as well as it gives you a cleave which scales off of your health. Basically, long story short, in this kind of build, it's just straight up more damage and quicker clear speed plus additional tankiness. In my opinion, one of Khaimera's absolute needs. So this is where Legion starts to really display his absolute greed. He really wants to kill this Gideon. Unfortunately, Skylar manages to pick him up, but I'm going to be cheeky and go around and pick up the Gideon. Skylar now knows that I'm in her jungle because I have to rotate through her jungle. So unfortunately, Skylar manages to pick up Balaka, but I know Skylar's going to rotate towards me, so she is, which is going to be dangerous. But again, I'm not overwhelmingly scared of her at the moment, simply due to the fact that she's not as dangerous as she can be. So she can't be. She's not as dangerous as she can be, especially in this one, but then that there's more of a on me rather than anything else. Taking use of this opportunity because they were close to me, I'm going to just wail on Steel. So I am. Again, Muriel with another one of those giga dives, saving my ass from a very, very bad ass whooping. So I have to, again, I have to reiterate, this Muriel is very, very good and very, very quick to act. So again, Muriel, thank you. Here's a moment of pure dumb shittery for everybody. Again, information is key, and of course my big brain forgot the patch notes. Does anybody remember what they did to Mini Prime? Anybody remember? They made it that the buff drops on the floor. I didn't pick it up like an idiot. Shortly after that there, sure was it, I realised that Gideon was in dual lane and low on health, so I'm going to do what Khaimera does best. Ambush! Goodbye Gideon. Again, whenever I'm being Khaimera, especially in Overlord Khaimera, I tend to be quite quick on the gun, so I do. After removing Gideon, there seems to be absolutely zero view on Scarlet, so I'm just going to be the standard greedy git at this stage. On top of that there, again, the use of Sentry comes in handy here, so I can display that they have no wards. Scarlet is exceptionally quick to try and take Fangtooth. She did beat me to it a few times, so she did. But again, in saying that though, if you can't back it up in lane, then it tends to unfortunately fall on deaf ears. I think at this stage, their team wasn't really... Their team hadn't came into their own at this stage. Their Scarlet was playing well. Their team was generally playing quite well, but they kind of let it slip at certain points, in my opinion. At this stage now, we have picked up Basilisk, and basically, in the most simple terms of it, it's armor shred, as well as once you've eroded their armor, you gain additional movement speed. So basically, once you get on them, they're not getting you off them, especially if you're being Khaimera, because Khaimera with his ambush plus, well, the movement speed from Basilisk basically means, yeah, you're not getting away from him in any way, shape or form, so you're not. So, especially with them building a relatively tanky team, that being the likes of Crunch and Steel, Basilisk tends to take has its uses, and then of course, well, Gideon runs away, as you do. Oh, hang on, because we're actually in the middle of rotating. Again, I don't remember this footage 100%, but we're in the middle of rotating. Steel's low, Scarlet's going after Drongo. I know this Muriel has my back, so I do, so I'm going to ensure that I am here to help. And unfortunately, Scarlet learns how devastating a Khaimera can really be. And that is simply it. I use my blink here. Steel obviously jumps in to help with the Twin Blast. I'm just going to continue cleaving apart here, so I am. Unfortunately, this is whenever I get put down. Now, I nearly did get Twin Blast, but I was curious to why I got shut down so easily. Now, obviously, we're going to continue building into our next item, but I get curious. Twin Blast has successfully built anti-heal second item. Good job, you're starting to get it. Build anti-heal early to shut me down. But then nice enough, Belka cleans up after me. So I will accept. Again, whenever it comes into, map awareness is a big thing. Especially if you're soloing objectives. Because if you're not aware of your map, you can very easily lose an objective. Because once people find out that you're on an objective, they will dogpile you. But both Legion and Belka created enough of an opening for me that Scarlet was taken away from me taking Shaper. So that was just a quick and clean. Again, map awareness, I think they just got overwhelmed in the left lane, so they did. The same way that Drongo got overwhelmed in the right lane. It can be done, but it can be dangerous if you do try to risk it on that level, if that makes sense. It can be quite difficult, but it's ensuring that you know where somebody is before you decide to do something. Now, no more than a few minutes after me taking Shaper, she has successfully taken the second Fangtooth. Now, here's the thing though. After Fangtooth got taken, we noticed the Crunch must have been helping Scarlet. Belka is in the middle of a massive confuffle. Of course, she takes out Crunch, and then I'm moving to assist. I wanted my red buff before I really overextended, so I did, but of course Gideon ran away after Crunch got taken out. Now again, I'm now in the middle of moving through their jungle to see what I can do. So who needs my help more? And that just so happens to be dual lane, because I was watching the map to see when Scarlet would pop up. So I was figuring, right, I'll do this. They did ward, so I'm going to get in the middle of it and end up magically catching two of them in my cull. Steel gets badly wounded. Muriel saving my ass yet again. Down goes Scarlet. And then, of course, I'm going to immediately go for the Twin Blast next. So I am, because I'm not letting nobody escape me at this stage. Steel makes the silly decision to try and save Twin Blast. And then that results in my second triple kill this game. This Muriel is on fucking point, guys. I can't deny this, so I can't. And then on top of that there, just while I'm here, Legion's doing Legion things. He is immediately driving to try and take that inhibitor, so he is. And as far as I'm aware, Belka rotated to help. At this stage, looking back at this here, I'm nearly sure that them two were in a squad together. Because it's definitely starting to feel like it, so it is. I also forgot to say that I also picked up Rapture, which gives me more basic attack damage based on my health. Basically, you're just running a shit ton of health on Khaimera and your health translates to damage. I'm nearly sure, I'm reiterating it just to be safe, but I'm also nearly sure that everybody already knows this. This will equal another death down to my greed. I wanted to take the tower. They took the tower anyway, so it is what it is. So at this stage of the game, we're 20 minutes in, and I want to see what people are running, so I do, because I'm quite confused here, because I've noticed that I'm doing a lot more damage than I'm intending to do, and I'm messing these people up a lot more than I expected. Now again, I did check in on Twin Blast earlier on whenever he killed me, because I wanted to know how he was able to melt me that badly, and it is indeed because he built anti-heal. Unfortunately for him though, he didn't build fully into it. Now again, this has catastrophic results down the line. Plus Steel has successfully built anti-heal and then built into Void Helmet, which from my perspective makes absolutely zero sense, because it means that you're gaining healing from all sources. As far as I'm aware, he has no natural ability to heal, so Void Helmet seems like a bit of a mistake. So it does. But take a look at Scarlet, as she has yet to build into any form of anti-heal. Not just that there, she went into armor penetration, which is quite funny in my opinion, because none of my team has armor. It only really has massive value whenever you are going up against somebody like a Steel or a Severog. So that being picked up is a bit interesting. But not just that there. Take a look at Crunch. Crunch has built Citadel. This makes sense. Alafrost makes sense. Actually, I tend to disagree with that there, because his crest is in the wrong place as well. He should have built Cypher's Mantle in that situation, because then it would have given him a bit more power on his amped autos. And now he builds into anti-heal 4th item. People simply do not value anti-heal as much as they should, especially if you have a Khaimera ripping through your team. At this stage, I'm truly unsure how people sort of process their thoughts here, because Crunch thought it was going to be a good idea to come at me, not realizing that I'm Khaimera, but then at the exact same time, we also have Scarlet. Again, Muriel pops out of nowhere and absolutely saves my ass. Scarlet is not ready for this fight. Scarlet's trying to put down the Muriel, not understanding that I'm itching for this. Like, this Muriel's on point, but this Scarlet I think is too hard focused on one place, but also the fact that she hasn't built anti-heal means that she is doing less than nothing to me, especially with the help of Rapture now. Not only am I healing from Rapture, I'm also healing from my natural passive, so it's just going to get progressively more dangerous. By this stage I have Draconium online, which amps my healing even more. Belka is now getting ganked by Scarlet, because I knew Scarlet was going to aim for Fangtooth, but a combination of me and Belka turns her into confetti, so we do. And because she's no longer a threat, I'm going to aim to take Fangtooth. I did go to try and help Belka, but Gideon ran away, so I figured, fuck it. I'll just solo Fangtooth and be on my way. So I didn't solo Fangtooth, I had Legion's help, I will admit that there, but I'm going to immediately make my greed known, and I'm going to make my way straight to Shaper, so I am. Now, Belka had an altercation in mid and managed to get out of it, and then Legion went in and cleaned up. But with Primal Fangtooth online, we're going to aim to try and end this. Now, fair play to the Steel, he managed to knock me off the Crunch, perfectly timed, because if he hadn't have, the Crunch would have dropped just as quickly. But what you have to remember is I have Primal Fang. I am a danger, so I am. So immediately I go straight to the absolute chop and horror, so I am. And because I did manage to pick up Shaper before getting anywhere near this altercation, we're immediately aiming for Inhib. I genuinely do start to think that people forget how actually bulky Khaimera does get. Drongo with the cleanup, me, and then again I dive on the Twin Blast. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that there. So guess what? I make my way straight to Orb Prime. We've got Primal Fang, so why not take Orb Prime? Because on top of that, not only are they in the middle of trying to defend lanes, with middle Inhib being down, they have to really defend. We now have both Draconium and Void Helmet online. This basically maximizes the amount of healing that we're going to get and make us damn near immortal if they don't build anti-heal. So yeah, as you've probably figured out, this is a losing match for them. So it is. They are too hard fixed on certain objectives, so they are. But in saying that though, it is what it is. Crunch did build not exactly what I would have considered the right way to build, but that's neither here or there. Again, unfortunately Balka did get dropped. She has the revive. That's not going to save her, especially on the level of health that she has. She's not building tanky enough. Drongo picks up Gideon. The only person left is Steel, and the only person we lost was Legion. So again, there was realistically no way that they could have stopped that altercation. The Muriel was on point, the Legion was on point, Balaka was on point. Everybody in this match was on point. I can't complain about that there. But what I do really have to bring up is the enemy team and their methodology of doing things. Because I'm really confused. Because look at this here, right? Twin Blast never finished his anti-heal. Steel refused to actually do support. Gideon had damage. Gideon just had a really bad matchup. Scarlet never went into anti-heal and wondered why she got dominated. And Crunch only managed to finish his anti-heal at the very end of the game. If you take a look at the raw stats there, that's not a good showing. So all in all guys, what did we learn from this here? Basically, build anti-heal early if there's a Khaimera in your game, because I'm sorry, Crunch left it to third item. Scarlet never built anti-heal and was probably wondering why she was getting clapped. Gideon never built anti-heal. Steel did build anti-heal, but then he built Void Helmet, which made absolutely no sense. And then you got Twin Blast, who never actually finished his anti-heal item and just continued into his own wee train of thought. Fair enough to him, because there was also a little bit of weirdness with him, is the fact that he built Vash, which is very interesting. On the other hand though, everybody builds their own way. I'm not going to complain about that though, but in saying that though, at least make it make sense sometimes, because my team did make sense in what they were trying to do, hypothetically speaking, because I'm not exactly sure why Drongo built Rad Rounds. Not sure. But in saying that though, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share and subscribe if you didn't enjoy. I really truly hope that you learned something, be it map awareness, the value of anti-heal, or just the sheer ability of Muriel. That's really it. No, I just genuinely thought I would do this here because I'm currently expanding out on what I am doing, because this is going to be a very hard build to top. But again though, will I say that it's going to solo an entire team? No, because all it takes is a little bit of know-how and you can stop Khaimera. Like a little bit of anti-heal. Instead of building Scarlet in future, if you do ever see this video, which your name is Off Meta Curse, please, if you do not mind, build anti-heal instead of Perforator if you're up against a squishy team. So anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share and subscribe, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!